Own voice and lead from within. I'm on my own today, guys. So we're gonna have fun. We're gonna talk about surviving divorce. It's a very, very beautiful topic, very sad topic at the same time. Everyone is taking an off day today, and you've got me, and I am actually sick. Uh, but I thought I'll just come on and just do 1 hour and then I will leave. So surviving divorce, no one really wants a divorce. No one walks down the aisle with the intentions of being divorced. We choose our mate because we think in that moment, we think and we understand that being together, we're going to be together all our lives. However, sometimes things don't go our way. So what do you do when things don't work out the way you want? So the only way would you choose to be unhappy to stay in a relationship that does not make you happy, or would you choose to be happy? So that's what we'll be talking about it today. So in the US in 2009, there was 3.6 marriage, 1,000 population that were 44 reporting state of Washington. From the figures, it seems like the marriage, like the numbers, half of them was divorce. People will get married and then things don't go their way. So I need to switch off my phone. So things sometimes don't go the way that we want. So what do you do? The figures that I just mentioned, they are frightening, but what is the ugly reality of what is actually happening with the divorce? Would you stay with someone if you don't want to stay? No, you wouldn't. I know if there's some people out there, some people stay in a relationship. Relationship is not working, they stay for the sake of their children, and they're like, my children are young, when they're older then we're going to separate. So what is divorce? Divorce is a final end in a relationship where someone says, I have had enough, selling everything and walking away. And when somebody sells everything, walking away from that relationship, they can feel that their dignity, wealth, and security is affected. That's how people sometimes they feel. When people want to get married and they divorce, and when that divorce comes, they feel that their dignity, their wealth, and their security is threatened, but it's not really necessarily that way. It becomes that way because nowadays marriage is no longer about marriage, it's a business. But if marriage was a marriage like our older generation, how they treated marriage, now relationship, when people breaks up, you got to sit down, find out how much am I worth. If I divorcing my spouse, then I got to sit down and find out how much am I worth, and then I have to take that person to court and pay out. So nowadays, divorce is a terrible thing, and it can result to anger, it can result to resentment, and it can result to pain. People are angry, and it can result to suffering, it can result to betrayal, because when divorce comes, it can feel like a betrayal, it can feel like the promises that were made in that relationship, and those promises have been stripped away. But the feelings, it's not that that's how it is. That's how people can feel. They can feel betrayed by the other person. So let's say You have two people in a relationship. Maybe the other person, they know what they want exactly, but the other person have issues. So then the relationship is not working and they need a divorce. And the person that is asking for divorce, that the other person can feel that they have been betrayed. And both parties, whether you ended the relationship or you didn't end the relationship, both parties suffer. So if you are someone who is watching right now and have gone through a divorce, please, I love to hear from you. If you have gone through a divorce or you have witnessed family members going through a divorce, because divorce is not something nice. When people go through it, it's pain, it's suffering. It can cause mental health problems if people don't deal with it properly. So if you are someone who is watching and you relate to what I've just said regarding divorce, or you have seen somebody going through it, or if you are going through it, just type I, or just type whatever you want to type, just have a conversation with Nomsa. So, and just have a conversation with Nomsa so I can see what is going on. So how do we let go of that pain when things go wrong? Can we prevent it? Can we prevent the pain? I have really, really terrible news dropping. Can we really prevent the pain? Can we really prevent the pain? And the answer is we can't. Pain is pain. When you go through divorce, pain is deep. And then that pain, it leads to be divorced too. We need to work on that pain. You need to be surrounded by people who can encourage you to move on to a happier place. So what do we do? Is it easy? Can you conquer the fears of misgiving of that relationship? Some people might not need some help. Some people, by the time they go through divorce, by the time they ask for divorce, they've grieved for a long time. Some people go through problems in that relationship, and when they go through problems, they deal with them in that relationship. When they ask somebody for a divorce, they've dealt with the issues. So I don't know your situation for anyone who is watching that is going through divorce or that is going through divorce. That means they are wounded. When you go through a divorce, your soul becomes wounded. You are in a battlefield with with your feelings, with your emotions, and the chances of survival in that moment. You need a friend to carry you through, a good friend to carry you through survival. You will need a good coach to carry you through survival. You will need good family members to carry you through survival. Not just people that are there to listen, not people that will tell you what you need to do when it comes to divorce. So that's what you need, because the chances of survival, it's not easy when you go through divorce. It's not an easy journey. And when you work on your feelings and you accept the truth, that's when the truth will say the truth sets you free. When you come to a realization that relationship is that relationship that you build for years, the marriage, maybe sometimes there are children involved, sometimes there's business involved, sometimes the people divorce, then they have to deal with their spouse. There are some people who are happy to divorce their spouse and still continue with the business, which is, it takes a lot for somebody to say, I'm going to continue. Although the marriage is over, but we're going to continue working together. It takes a lot. Some people will look at other people and say, wow, I wish I can be you, but it takes courage. That means that person deep down in their heart, they have worked on that problem. They have forgiven the other person. When divorce feels like a betrayal, that means you have to go through healing. You have to go through forgiveness. You need a coach. And some people don't need a coach. People are different. Some people don't need a coach. Some people will read books. Once they read books, and they'll do their own therapy and just heal their wounds. But people are different. So I don't know if you're somebody who is going through divorce, or you know somebody who's going through divorce, or you are a coach, you watch your client going through that pain, just communicate with me. We can communicate, and just type something. And so, as I said, that the truth will set you free. When you actually know that the relationship is over and you grow strong, the truth is accepting and letting it go. But when we refuse to accept the truth that the relationship is gone, it can cause resentment. It can cause us resenting our exes or wanting to fight our exes. Whatever path you choose, that moment, how you respond to that divorce is your survival. That path that you benefit from that decision. But sometimes people choose a different path of hatred. They choose a different path of staying in the me game. Why me? Why did I have to go through this? Yes, marriage is meant to be forever. When we say I do, everything, we say these vows, we say I do. But then after we finish the vows, we forget what we promised. We promise to love each other, sickness and death. We promise to be there for each other when things are tough. Some people like to have a relationship, but they don't like to do the work. And that's why sometimes the relationship won't work, because some people love to do all the things that bring pleasure in that relationship. They like the going out part. They like the kissing part. They like the romantic part, the sexy part, the having sex, the party part. When it comes to the tough, when problems are presented in a relationship, some people don't like to deal with problems. They're like, I'm out. That's not what I've signed, because when we watch reality TV, we believe that's what relationship is about. Our generation. That's what I believed. I'm saying this because that's what I believed before, that relationship is about whatever happens in romantic film, romantic comedy, reality TV shows. I thought that was love. But love is special. It comes from within. It's something that you create, you build it, you build it yourself. It's a tree that you grow. And that tree, you can choose what kind of plants you plant in that tree. It's beautiful. Love is beautiful. Being in a relationship, I know some people say that love doesn't exist, but guess what? I can tell you that love does exist. It's just if you haven't found the right person, you have to keep searching, because love does exist. The person that you seek, Amanda and Grant and Nick on Wednesday, they had this topic that what you seek is seeking you. So the person that you seek, that is loving and caring, that is all these things that is called everything, values and beliefs that matches your beliefs, is called all the traits that you want. That person is out there. But it is just how do you find that person? So love does exist. If you have somebody who is going through divorce and you believe that, you know what, my ex was a nightmare, Yeah, she was a nightmare. That's why you're not with that ex. That's why they are called ex. So now we need to bring the present person. So a relationship, love does exist. So now let's talk about the divorce. Love exists. So those who believe that, oh, you know what, I've gone through a divorce and it's so painful, I don't want to date no one. Love exists. You don't have to stay on it. Or love is beautiful as well. Never doubt that anyone can become a warrior in a relationship. We are all warriors, but sometimes things and our mindset, the people that we date, their mindset, it's not where we need it to be. And sometimes we get the signs from the beginning, but we choose to ignore those signs. So all I'm saying is, if you relate to the story, you say, like, Nomsa, I relate to this. I saw the signs at the beginning when I met my ex, but we're not gonna backstab our exes, because when somebody backstab their exes, that means that they have not finished the business with them. So we're just gonna talk about, you can comment based on you, that actually I relate to this story. And so never doubt that love exists. Never doubt that anyone can be a warrior in a relationship. A warrior means we live in this society where people don't play fair. And the society of everyone follows everyone. If you are different, they say, why is this one different? Is she on tablet? If you are happy, people say, is she on medication? That makes her happy. Is she on drugs? Is she drunk alcoholic? That to make her happy. So we are in this society that has written a book. A society has written a book about what a marriage should look like. Some people are monsters. So how do you project yourself and your family from those people who are monsters? And when you meet these people that are monsters, you marry that person, and you marry that monster, and then you don't know that this person is the monster. So how do you project your life after divorce? So will you move on with your life when you divorce your ex? Or would you still hold on to them, what they've done, what they didn't do right? Would you still hold on to that chain of what they didn't do right, or what they did wrong, what they didn't do, what they were meant to be, who they became? Would you hold on to that, or would you set yourself free? Would you let go? What would you do? Would you become a true monster in your own mind, filled with rage, seeking to hurt somebody because somebody hurts you in that divorce, through the divorce? Or would you choose to set yourself free? Some people choose not to enter another relationship with is a fine choice. And somebody has had the worst possible outcome through the divorce, they choose to protect themselves. I'm not going to let anybody hurt me because of my ex. My ex hurt me so much. And I'm going to hold on to the pain. I'm going to protect myself. You don't need to protect yourself. It's learning, what did you learn from that relationship? All you got to do, you got to learn how to select the right person. We do not select, when we go out, select the right woman for our relationship, the queen. When we select the right king, we don't look at how handsome they are. We don't look at the muscles, how big muscles they are. We don't look at the queen and the boobies, she's got big boobs, I like her. We don't do that. We look at the outside. What's on the inside of a person is greater than what's on the outside. When you are selecting the person, their values, their beliefs is very, very, very important when you are selecting somebody. And also, when you select that person, Relationship shouldn't end there of selection. Okay, I've selected this person 2 years down the line, and then you neglect that person you selected. You select someone for good reason, and then you dedicate your life to love that person, to love you and share your love with that person. You dedicate your life to have fun. Love is not all about you did this, you did this. Love is about I walk in the room. When I see the socks on the floor, I pick them up with grace. And I go and tell my spouse, hey, honey, next time when you want to get dressed, please make sure there's a washing machine. You can put your socks in the washing machine, ready to be washed, or you can put them in the washing basket without fighting. You know what is annoying me? She is annoying. No, she's not. That's how people they are. So when you live with someone, you have to understand that you are there to share your love with that person. That's why a relationship ends in divorce, because we have these days where we have an attitude of expectations, and when our expectations are not met, then we are like, this is not what I have signed for. But if you go into a relationship with an open heart, select the right person first. It's very, very, very important to select the right person. I have met women. I've gone to dating events. I've gone to dating coaches, attending events that have been arranged by other dating coaches or relationship coaches, where women will stand, men will stand and say, I thought this was my type. This type was my type, where I selected and selected, ended up with the disappointment. When I changed my mindset of selecting who I thought was my type, or selecting the woman or man that I thought was my type, then things change. Even Tony Robbins says the woman that he is married to now, she is not the woman that he would have gone for, but his relationship worked. So the beauty still works in a relationship. We still want people who are beautiful. And where does beauty come from? Beauty comes from the heart. When a person knows who they represent, that is beauty. When a person accepts themselves completely, that is beauty. Self-love is beauty. When somebody loves themselves completely, that's what I call beauty. I have women who come to the dating agency. They think because they have fake boobs, they have good jobs, and they can rule. They can tell me what to do sometimes, or men that think they have good jobs and they come in, they can tell me, no, say, this is what I want you to do. I'm like, that's not how I work. I don't work with a client tells me what to do. What I work with a client that knows exactly what they want. They will tell me the details. This is who I want. This is who I am. And this is what I'm looking for. Would you provide this for me? The attitude. I work with a man who has an attitude of getting married. I work with a man who has an attitude of looking for a long-term relationship. Or I work with a man who says, no, sir, I'm looking for a woman that will accept me for who I am. And this is the woman that I'm looking for. So I'm looking for a man that is ready to search for his lover and find that love. But I don't work with men that says just because they have the money, they can tell everybody how to do the work. I don't work like that. So that's why I do the interview. I go to men's house. When I go to your home, if I come as a man, I come to your home. That's how I match people. When I come to your home, I'm not there to judge you. I know a home is where a man will feel comfortable. My clients are men. I'm a love harmonist, a matchmaker for men. So when I come to your home and ask questions, I know you're going to be honest with me. And I know your home is where you feel comfortable. A home is where you're going to tell me that, no, so this is who I am. This is who I am. You're comfortable. You're gonna make me a cup of coffee or tea or hot chocolate with grace, and then you're gonna tell me why the relationship hasn't worked. But if I take you, we go out for coffee and they ask those questions, you're not gonna be open up with me because you don't feel comfortable. It's the public. Sometimes you'll be worried about what people think, but at home you can scream and say, oh, no, sir, I've been silly before. You can tell me whatever you want to tell me so I can help you moving forward. So those are the people that I work with. So because divorce is very, very costly. And I work with a man that is actually ready to go out, no playing games, no talking about themselves too much. I just work with people that are willing to be coached before they go on dates. That's what Hope Springs, the Eternal Introduction Agency is. We work with people to avoid divorce. And once that person is selected somebody, the support continues. It doesn't stop there. They know the support, they will still have support because relationship requires you to work on it. It requires you to have people in your network that knows about relationship, that can help you when things are going wrong, because things will go wrong in a relationship. They don't stay the same. Your spouse might grow. And then if you don't understand, maybe what do I do? So you need that somebody, the end of the phone call, don't say this is what is going on. What do I do? So always look at yourself first. Always evaluate yourself first, whatever you do in life, because sometimes this mind that we have, our mind can Google, our head can start Googling things that don't exist. So it's very, very important when you are in a relationship, instead of blaming your spouse, or sometimes the spouse can decide to cheat on you. But then when somebody cheats on you, you don't have to stay with them for the sake of staying. So that's when you have to choose whether you're going through divorce or you're going to let them go or you're going to forgive. And once you forgive, you cannot keep reminding that person that you did this, you did this. So it's very, 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 very important to know your weapon of the powerful weapon of defense. The powerful weapon of defense when it comes to life is your mind. It's how you respond, how you use your mind to respond to every situation. If I'm going through divorce right now, my spouse says, no, I want a divorce. So I just want to thank God. I'll thank God for meeting this person. And I will thank God for the journey that I've gone through with this person. But if it was before, I would be crying and I would be saying, why me? Why do I have to go through this pain? Why other people are living? No, I wouldn't do that anymore. I would not do that. If somebody says, come on, sir, I need a divorce, I give it to them. Move on with my life, work through my healing, work through my mental health. Mentally, you have to be prepared for your life mentally, because if you are not prepared mentally, divorce can destroy you. It's not an easy journey. The reason why I'm saying that if somebody was to ask me for a divorce now, I did go through a relationship breakup in 2009. So that is my story. In 2004, I spent all 2004 finding a man. And then I found that man. And then in the whole time, those years up to 2009, I became we had a daughter together. I became a woman who was trying to keep a man. And I became a woman who was trying to keep a man and raise a child with all these responsibilities that comes with it. 2009, I found myself as a single woman with my daughter. And when I was asking myself, I prayed to God, I said, God, Why would you give me something that I asked for and then you take it away? I was crying. I wasn't blaming, but I was crying. The pain was too much to bear. And God said, no, sir, take a look around. I gave you what you asked me to give you. The Bible says anything you ask, I will give you for the Father to be glorified in the Son. So I gave you a man that you asked me to give it to you. I collected with that man. That's why the Bible says, you manifest, I give you what you manifest for. But you have to learn to look after that thing. That man that I spent all my life looking for, I found the man, but I didn't know how to, I didn't have the knowledge of how relationship works. I spent my time getting dressed for 2 hours. The time where I spent getting dressed, making sure that my fake hair looked excellent, making sure my makeup matched my eyelashes, making sure that my nails were done, making sure that the dress that I was wearing matched my high heels matched my handbag. But inside I was broken because I didn't do any personal development inner work. I worked on the outer world, and when I stepped on the outside, I made sure that I didn't step in the mud. I make sure that I look so beautiful that the neighbors will be like, wow, she is amazing. But inside I was broken. And that's why my relationship didn't work, because I did not work on myself. You tell me how to dress. I dress up for you, honey. How to dress. I know how to dress. I know how to choose high heels. I know how to choose a handbag. I dress up. I do my hair. I sit there in front of the mirror. I do my hair. And when I step outside, I'm like, wow. But inside, I was broken. So I had to change all that. Now I'm spending 2 hours praying and meditating. So I had to change my mindset. I had to stop faking it, because when you step outside, you're looking good. We are allowed to look good, but it look good on the inside, to work on the inside, to let the outer world and the inner world complement each other. Yes, we look good on the outside. Let the inside look good as well. Now I spend 2 hours meditating, praying to God. I spend 2 hours. In that 2 hours, there's a time for me to meditate. There is a time for me. We're only just talking about in the morning. There's a time for me to meditate. There's a time for me to write my journal. There's a time for me to pray. There's a time for me to sing. There's a time for me to actually look at my life through the day. Whatever I write in that journal is my day. No one can come and change it. If the clients comes in and they're very, very upset, it doesn't mean that I have to respond and get upset with them. No, if they are upset, my job is to find out why they feel the way they feel. If I can help them in that moment in time, I will. But if I can't, there is no point. Actually, I think there's someone at the door. Let me go have a look. Okay. Okay, yeah, so that was my parcel. So I ordered something on Amazon. I ordered a book on Amazon, to violin book, and apparently I returned the book, which I didn't know anything about it. I didn't return the book. So the book has been delivered. So, and that is my story. And that's why my relationship did not work, because I did not work on myself. I spent 2 hours getting dressed, making sure that I did look good. But inside I was broken. And here's I was with my story. My story had gone back to where it was. I was a single woman now trying to raise a child on my own. It doesn't matter whether somebody pays for finances. It doesn't matter. But what matters is families, parents should be together. But at that moment, I was on my own, raising my daughter. And I became a single woman, trying to raise my daughter. And it was so painful. The pain. But through that pain, how I respond, for me, my response was not to blame my ex, not to blame myself. It was to make sure that I have a cold. So it was to make sure that my life changes, work on myself. And it was to make sure that I get this knowledge of how relationship works. So I had to go back to my childhood and do some work, which I did. So if you're somebody who is not in a relationship or looking for somebody to date, make sure that you've done your inner work, because what I do meet, even there are coaches that I meet that they say they're coaches, but when you start speaking to them as a coach, you realize that this person they still need some work. For me as a person, what I do is what you see with me here in front of the camera is what you see when I'm off. I don't do the pretense, but before I did the pretense where I fake it. Sometimes they say fake it till you make it. I say don't do it. Do not fake it. Because when you fake something, it's not real. So don't fake it. So for me, I don't fake it. When I come here, I work with love. I'm a love harmonist. I harmonize what is a relationship exactly. So when somebody comes in, they're looking for love. I ask questions. What are they looking for? When you go to Marks and Spencer, some people, they shop at Marks and Spencer, their groceries. Some people, they shop at Waitrose. Some people, they shop at Tesco's. Tesco's. There's loads of different supermarkets where people shop. So when you go to that supermarket, you write down your shopping list. So that's what I do. When somebody comes in with their shopping list, and this is what I'm looking for, Lobsa. So I have to think now, is this real or is this a fantasy? Sometimes some people are looking for a fantasy that does not exist. But I'll never ever talk them out of their fantasy. I let them go ahead with the fantasy, but in order for me to take your money to help you, you have to go through the coaching. It's for free. When you pay whatever the lump sum you pay, that coaching is included. So if you refuse it, I refuse to match you, because when things don't work, you're going to come back and blame me. So I don't want no blaming. I want to do my work. So my work is, if you are somebody who has not found the right person in your life, and you come, I charge my cheapest price is £10,000. That's how much I charge. So you come in and sit down with me, and then you pay me that money. I want to make sure you don't come back or you don't go to another matchmaker for matching. So my job is to break the chains of I'm not enough, the chains of who hurt me back then, the chains of who was never there for me when I needed them, the chains of becoming a follower. We select people because they are beautiful and because we love their looks and because we love things that are fantasy, but we forget our needs, we neglect our needs. So I break those chains with you, and when you go out, you listen to a woman when they speak with grace. You don't talk about yourself. You make sure that that woman understands who you really are as a person and what you are looking for as a man or as a woman. So when I meet women, I have to make sure that they are looking for a long-term relationship. And I have to make sure that they've worked on their wounds, because everyone is wounded. We are all wounded. So I have to make sure that. So that's how we can survive divorce. And for me to survive the divorce, it wasn't easy. It took me years and years and years to work on myself. I had to work on myself. And in order for me to be where I am now, to have this mindset, it took me years and years. Some people, they will be like too hard on themselves because they believe that working on yourself, it has to be a magic pill. It's not. You don't have to make you wrong. You don't have to blame yourself, even if you see people happy and you believe that you are not happy. You don't have to make yourself wrong. Why am I not happy? Why others are happy? All you got to do is to find the healing, find the solution, why your story ends up that way. Same story all the time. So that's what you need to do, because you are capable of going through happiness. Divorce can be a final straw sometimes when it comes to relationship. It can be something that can make somebody become a monster. But if you choose to be an author of your story, can you imagine what life it can be? Amazing. Because that means you are writing your own story. So you get to decide how you pull through darkness, because divorce takes you to darkness. You then have to break through, break the chains. Oh, my nose are actually dripping. So you have to go through, when you go through darkness, in order for you to get to the other side, you have to be prepared to put you first. There are no negotiations. When it comes to feelings, there are no negotiations that I'm going to put my ex. When you put your ex first, it means you blame them. It means you blame yourself. Put you first. Work on you. Because you are capable of becoming whoever you want to become and set yourself free. And when you get through the other side, it's beautiful. When you get through to the other side, out of darkness, because divorce is darkness. It's something that we don't ask for. No one asks for divorce. No one asks for it. But we get presented to it. And when we get presented to it, we then have to decide how to live in our own truth, or how to live in that darkness. So we get to decide. And when you do get to decide, it means you let go of everything. Finances, you can deal with finances and go to court. There's nothing wrong going to court and going through finances, sorting out the finances. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Some people may choose. For me, when I was going through relationship breakup, for me, I didn't want to go to court. I wanted my spouse to decide whether he wanted to be a father, because that is a choice. Being a father to your child, it is a choice. So I wanted him to decide in that moment what he wanted to do in his life. I would have taken him to court if he wasn't supporting his child. But I had things that I needed to do, which is I needed to work on my healing. So I decided I'm not going to take no one to court. You're going to support your child. And I live my life. So I planned my life from step by step. I planned it. After the breakup, my life is gonna be like this. This is how I'm going to raise my daughter. And I was willing to do whatever it takes for me to get better. That means I went through 4 or 5 psychologists. They didn't get through to me because in my head, I hadn't made up my mind that I wanted to let it go. I went to this psychology first, the other one, both of them 10 sessions. The other one and the last one, I went to her. And that last day, I left her, and then when I got home, decided to do my own healing, using whatever the techniques that we worked on. That's when I found that Nomsa that was always there inside of me, my inner child that was crying. Nomsa that has courage to become who she wants to become. Nomsa that has courage to love unconditional love. Nomsa that has the courage to communicate her needs, her want. Found that person that was always there. And when I did find that person, it was then for me to forgive myself, because that is painful when you realize what kind of a person you are. And then you realize where you've been. I had to ask for forgiveness, for God to forgive me for neglecting the person that stood by me, which is myself. So I had to ask for forgiveness. After the forgiveness, where do I go from there? I had to forgive. I had to forgive my ex completely. There were times where I actually felt I wanted to vomit with pain. There were times where when I look at the pain, when I think of the pain, I think of my life, I just want to go and vomit. And that's when I knew that I was breaking away from the chain. It's not easy. I knew I was letting it go, letting go that pain. Sometimes some people, they get the breakthrough deliverance in a different way. Some people cry. Some people cry non-stop. But for me, it was like when I thought about everything that was going on in my life, I was like, I felt like I wanted to vomit that pain. And in the end, I found myself. And when I did find myself, it meant that when I meet someone, I don't have to pretend to be something that I'm not. I smile, I love to smile a lot. So I have to smile. I have to keep my spine. And I have to communicate and let the person know who I am as a person, not to pretend. My cold is so bad. There's nothing in the head or in my body. It's all in my nose. I think it's because I meditate a lot. So in my body, I don't feel I feel good, but everything is banged up in my nose. So it's really bad. So that's life. When it comes to marriage, when it comes to divorce, divorce can turn nasty. Some people can even kill their spouse. There are some people that have gone and killed their spouse because of divorce. Divorce can get nasty, but it doesn't have to. If you are somebody who is watching and you're going through it, it doesn't have to. You have a choice of how you respond. The rage, it doesn't help. The shock can cause people to do so many things. They can cause people to murder somebody because of people, when they meet each other, they make vows and they believe they're going to be together for many and many years to come. But we don't know the plan. We don't know what God's plan is. But at the end of the day, it's how we respond to that situation. How do we respond to this divorce? That's how we are going to find to survive. We had a breakthrough challenge we had last week. There were different coaches who were talking about the survival, the framework that they have to use. So even no matter how much pain you're going through, how much pain, I cannot tell you, even though I'm going through relationship breakup, I cannot tell you that I know your feelings, I know what you're going through, because I'll be lying. I don't. Every person feels different when they're going through pain. But all I can tell you is how you respond to that pain is how you are able to find the breakthrough and create your framework to be the person that you want to be, how you respond. And it's also how you respond. As Christians, we say how you respond to pain is how God is able to promote you. How the universe, some people believe in the universe. So for me, I believe in God because God is the creator of the universe. I want to go higher. I don't want to play small. So I want to go higher. I believe the man himself that created the universe, that if you ask, and you forgive yourself, you work on yourself, you will survive the divorce. And if you choose to be a warrior and choose to find the support, good support, you need good support when you're going through challenges. If you find good support, family members that can be champion to you, that is amazing. So that's what divorce is about. That's how you survive a divorce. You have to work on the barriers, work on your life. If it involves sometimes the money bit, that's where the problem is when you find when you're divorcing. For me, when I was going through divorce, it was never about material. When I was going through pain, I don't look at the material way. I had to move away. I had to change the area where I lived, and I had to move away. My spouse, my ex, he followed us. The area that I chose where I was going to live is the area where he was transferred for work. Sometimes things work for the right reason. We moved into the town, and then a few months later he got transferred he used to come to work here like for contract, and then he got transferred to Oxford University. He's a scientist. So they gave him a lab, and and he was like, I'm going to take it because I need to be closer to my daughter. So it depends how you respond to that situation. There's so many things that are involved when it comes to relationship. But for me, my focus was to get healing. My focus was to put me first, put my daughter as well, because if I don't put me first, I wouldn't be able to look after my daughter. So that was my the plan. That's the plan that I planned. Now I'm gonna put me first and be able to look after my daughter and be able to do the things that I want to do in life. And so I did, put me first. All the money material, it came after, when I was praying to God and asking God to testify the truth on my behalf. And when you do those things, when you meditate, you do those things, the energy, whatever your beliefs that might be, things will work your way. It will come your way. It doesn't matter what you've been through. Through that pain, you'll find the healing, you'll find the breakthrough. We were talking about heartbreak last weekend. So you will find that breakthrough as long as you are willing to find it. So it is very, very important to understand that when you're going through pain, it's okay to go through pain. We learn from pain. We learn from pain. So it's Nomsa, Gossip Talk Shows, and YouTube family. If you guys are on YouTube and you're watching this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Then it Gossip Talk Shows page. We have some stars, so you can look at the stars. Give us some stars if you're feeling generous. Give us some stars. Press the star button instead of commenting. You have a choice of comment or press the star button. So you can press the star button to Gossip Talk Shows on Facebook, on our Facebook page. Not my personal page, Facebook page, no group page either. Facebook business page. So you can press the stars, and that star will help Gossip Talk Show to grow. And I'll be here tomorrow, not tomorrow, Saturday, tomorrow and Sunday. So I'll be here Monday I'm with Rachel. I know Tuesday I'm on my own because Carol Ann is doing a writing challenge. It's a retreat, a writing retreat. So she's doing a writing retreat for a few days, 5 days. So she'll be back on the 25th. So I'm excited for her. And God bless. Live with grace, everyone. And I'll see you soon. Have a beautiful weekend. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. So